Who's leading your life, you or are you letting others? Stubbornness has its place. Have you ever felt like growing older is a bit like living in a neighborhood, controlled by a strict homeowners association? Suddenly, every aspect of your day seems to be monitored, commented on, or controlled by someone else. You want to go out for a simple drive, but the committee of your doctor and family members isn't entirely sure that's a good idea. You're craving a certain type of food, but you hear about a new restriction every time you visit the people who think they know best. Perhaps even most frustrating, they want to track your every move with a wearable device, just in case you stumble. Sure, it's all well intended, but if they're not with you every day, if they don't see you that often, why do they get to call all the shots? Here's the tension we face, or will, at some point. The crux of the matter is this creeping sensation that you're losing your independence, at a time in life when you'd like to savor it most. Life used to feel like you could come and go as you pleased, make your own decisions, pick your own grocery list, and plan the day's itinerary without needing a second opinion. Then one day, it seems like you're living under constant scrutiny, as though you've been reduced to a child who needs to check in with the adults in the room. It's a jarring shift from the freedom you once had, and it can feel demeaning. After all, you spent decades running your own show, taking charge of your career, your household, and your responsibilities. Now, all of a sudden, there's this external committee stepping in to weigh in on your life choices. Yes, doctors have critical medical expertise, and family members typically have your best interests at heart. They're worried about your well-being and safety, and that's not a bad thing. However, the challenge is that these individuals don't walk your path every day. They're not there in the early mornings when you're preparing your cup of coffee and planning how to spend the rest of your day. They're not there on quiet afternoons when you're perfectly fine tending to your garden or catching up on a favorite TV show. Yet when they do show up, whether it's at an appointment or a family gathering, they often arrive with new restrictions, extra cautions, or added suggestions. Even when these ideas are beneficial, their cumulative effect can make you feel fenced in, as if every corner of your life has a no trespassing sign. This dynamic creates tension because it undermines confidence. It can feel like people only see your limitations. It's hard not to internalize that narrative, questioning whether you still have the zest and capability to lead the life you want. You might start second-guessing yourself. Maybe they're right. Maybe I should stay in. Maybe I can't handle that vacation or that new class. Over time, those doubts pile up, and life starts to look smaller and smaller. But here are some suggestions for shifting the perspective and reclaiming autonomy. The good news is, you don't have to sit back and let this sense of restriction take over your life. You can do a healthy pivot, one that balances the legitimate concerns of your committee with your desire for independence and self-expression. Here's how. Open communication. Rather than bottling up your frustration, schedule a calm conversation with the people in your life who impose the most rules. Let your doctor know which aspects of your life are non-negotiable. Maybe it's your daily walk in the park, or meeting a friend for lunch. Ask for guidelines that help you stay safe while still living life on your own terms. Similarly, talk with your family. Explain how you appreciate their love and concern, but also need a degree of trust in your own judgment. Set clear boundaries. If your loved ones want you to wear a fall monitor or other device, engage them in a solution. Ask them what the real fear is behind these suggestions. Do they worry you'll fall and nobody will be there to help? Maybe a phone call at a certain time, or a shared phone tracking app you can switch on when you leave the house might be enough. The key is to create a system that respects both your safety and your sense of independence. Often, our families place restrictions because they feel out of the loop. Combat that by taking the lead on updates. If you have a fun outing or a plan in place, let them know in advance. This way, it's not a surprise that triggers their anxiety, and you won't end up with last-minute objections. Focus on what you can do. Instead of wrestling with all the things you're told you can't do, flip the narrative. Make a list of activities that are still very much in your realm of possibility, whether that's trying a gentle yoga class, picking up a new hobby like painting, or volunteering in the community. Let these pursuits remind you, and everyone around you, that there's a world of experiences waiting to be embraced. Ultimately, the real pivot happens inside your head. Feeling resentful of the people who care about you can diminish your own happiness. Instead, choose to see their suggestions as an expression of love. That doesn't mean ceding all authority. It means recognizing that their intent stems from concern. You can acknowledge the love while still advocating for your autonomy. Let's wrap it up on a positive note. Getting older can sometimes feel like navigating a gauntlet of rules and advice from doctors, family members, and well-meaning friends. But just because you're hearing more opinions doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your sense of self. By communicating openly, setting boundaries, and focusing on the things that bring you joy, you can reclaim your autonomy. Embrace your loved one's concern for what it is, a reflection of how important you are to them, and channel it into a constructive dialogue that preserves both your freedom and your well-being. Yes, the HOA committee might always exist in some form, popping up to ask questions or give guidance. Yet it doesn't have to dominate your life. You can remain the president of your own household, ensuring you continue to steer your life's path while still acknowledging the support and encouragement offered by those around you. Aging in this light isn't about losing yourself. It's about finding new, balanced ways to live life to the fullest. And that sense of fulfillment, that confidence in your own ability to choose, can remain with you every step of the way. If you found this informative and helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to get more of these short videos intended to help you live life on your own terms in your third act.